And my Lord, did she make some bad decisions. So today's book both intrigued me and confused me. And if I'm being honest, it kind of frustrated me a bit too. Let me explain. Okay, so the book is Where'd You Go, Bernadette, by Maria Semple. And what intrigued me about it is that it's a book told by first-person point of view of all the main characters, both the antagonists and the protagonists. So that was very interesting. Bernadette is one of the main characters. She is a mom of an 8th grader named B. So you get to be in the adults' heads, because it's first-person POV, and also like an 8th grader's head, which was interesting. But it's not a YA novel at all. Bernadette, she is a gifted architect, evidently, you find out as the story unfolds. However, she's become quite the recluse with a little bit of anger management issues. And then they live in a house that is evidently a former girls' boarding school and is completely falling down around their ears. I mean, they have weeds growing up through the floorboards. So the whole setting is really interesting. I actually liked how the house, the condition of the house sort of mirrors and is a physical metaphor for basically their life. Everybody's just ignoring the weeds growing through the floorboards, just like they're ignoring all the other problems that are going on in their lives. So I loved having that house sort of be a character in the story. I thought that was really well done and really interesting. The other thing that I found interesting was the whole first-person point of view. And that's because you were in the antagonist's head too, because all the main characters are in first-person POV. So you got to be in Bernadette's head, you got to be in Bernadette's husband's head, you got to be in B's head, the daughter, the 8th grader, but you also got to be in the antagonist's head. And my Lord, did she make some bad decisions. But let's talk about what frustrated me. Okay, so what frustrated me? Have you ever had a book where the antagonists are fighting? Like, you have more than one antagonist. That's kind of what happens in this book, in my opinion. At the very beginning, you've got a character who is clearly the bad guy. She is just, my Lord, is that woman a pain in the neck. And you're also, again, you're in first-person POV of all the characters in the book. So you know, as she's making these decisions, what horrible decisions they are, and also what arrogant decisions they are, which just make you not like her even more. And then there's this other character who starts out as a minion. She's clearly not the main antagonist, but then she kind of becomes the main antagonist, or she jockeys for position. She basically tries to elbow the first antagonist out of the way, which was interesting, but also a little frustrating, because then I'm like, okay, wait a minute, who's my antagonist? Who am I not supposed to like? Well, it's fine, I didn't like either one of them. But then the story kind of takes a curve and you're like, wait a minute, am I supposed to like the minion? So that frustrated me a little bit, those fighting antagonists. And then Bernadette kind of becomes B's antagonist in a way. So yeah, the fighting antagonists were interesting, I have to say. Frustrating, but interesting. The daisy. What are we gonna do about the daisy? Okay, the daisy. So I liked the book. I did. I thought it was interesting. I thought having everybody in first-person POV had to have been difficult for the author to write, and while that context switching was kind of hard to keep up with sometimes, the fighting antagonists were a little hard to keep up with sometimes, but still I thought the story was fresh and interesting, and kind of where it went, I was never expecting. There was definitely some curves. No left turns, but definitely some curves that I wasn't expecting. So I liked that about the book. What I didn't like about the book is not having a clear sense of who the main antagonist was. It was difficult, and not to give you a spoiler, but at the end of the book, one of the antagonists kind of starts being one of the good guys, sort of, because she still makes terrible decisions. Oh, one more thing. I loved how the house became almost a character in the book. How it was falling down around their ears, they're ignoring the fact that there are weeds growing up through the floorboards. It's kind of a metaphor for how Bernadette was ignoring her creativity and enclosing herself in that house and not doing anything to leave, avoiding human contact at all costs. And as you peel that onion back throughout the story, and the house kind of gets worse, things get worse around the house. I loved that. I loved how that house kind of became another character of the story in a lot of ways. Really liked it. But overall, I would give this book 3.5 daisies. It's not that it's a bad book. I enjoyed the story, but I don't think this book is gonna be on repeat for me. I don't think I'll read it again. Other than maybe the week before I go see the movie, I don't know that I'll read it again. So for that reason, I'm giving it 3.5 daisies. If you've read the book, what did you think? Did you see fighting antagonists? I'd love to have a discussion about that in the comments, just because I thought it was an interesting writing choice. So what did you think? Let me know in the comments, or DM me over on Instagram. Love to talk to you about it. So there you have it, 3.5 daisies. And until next time, and boy do I have a great book for you next time, remember that life is always better with a good book and a cup of tea in your hand. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.